This is an Inner Banks Media podcast original.
Welcome into Pirates in the Pros, where we take a look at what your favorite Pirates are doing beyond their time in the purple and gold. Pirates in the Pros with Philip Pilkington and Dom Kasolki.
Welcome into Pirates in the Pros. It is our 5th episode of Pirates in the Pros. I'm Philip Pilkington alongside Dom Kasolki, and we have intern Mary in the behind the glass producing. How's it going, Dom?
It's good. I can't believe it's been 5 weeks now. This is crazy. It's flying by fast, and these shows fly.
Oh, we lost Dom there for a second. He kind of lagged out as he was saying the shows were flying by. So hopefully, there we go. We got you back, Dom.
Nope. Did I go away for a second?
You said the shows are flying by, and then it cut out.
All right. Well, the internet back home, maybe not as good back at Inner Banks Media or as Inner Banks Media, so hopefully it sticks with me through this show.
Yeah, hopefully it does, because full disclosure, I may have to mute myself. Knock on wood, I hope they're done. But they are testing fire alarms in our building right now. So I know people are wondering, why the hell are you doing a podcast? Well, part of the reason it's also being posted on a Monday, I am driving part of the way to Pittsburgh this afternoon, and then tomorrow the rest of the way going to Pirates Braves the next couple days. So will not be in a spot really, I guess, until Wednesday, where I would be able to already be in the Airbnb and have a microphone and all that. So that's why we're doing it on Monday. We backed it up 30 minutes to hope to avoid the fire alarm, but hey, here we are. So let's get right into it so that I can get on the road. For those of you watching on the video platform, as you can see, I'm wearing a Miami Marlins hat to give a little bit of kudos to our guy Clayton McCullough, a Pirate in the Pro. The Miami Marlins were 20-6 in the month of June. That was best in Major League Baseball. Only the Dodgers and Phillies were 18-9. They were the closest to the Marlins, but still a whole 2.5 games better were Miami last month. They're so far 3-2 this month in July, including a sweep of the A's this past weekend. And Dom, did you see what almost happened yesterday with the Marlins?
I did not. What happened?
Their starter was perfect through 7. McCullough pulls him going to the 8th with a perfect game going. 92 pitches.
Is he going to get some heat?
I don't know. The guy was at 92. I think they should at least let him out there for one more. They bring it now. They were up 8-0, and he tried to save the team perfect game and didn't throw like your normal up 8-0 guy. So he brought in like their normal 8th inning setup guy. First 5 batters all scored without recording it out.
No way.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It was like single, no doubter, and then like a couple more base hits. It was like, oh my goodness. They don't win it 9-8.
They only won 9-8?
They were 6 outs from a freaking perfect game and won 9-8.
Oh my goodness, man. If I'm that starter, I'm pissed.
Yeah. So that was his latest managerial decision. Not backing on him, really not. Just trying to have a little fun here.
No,
so
I mean, a lot of progress right now. I mean, best month in baseball last month. That's not what you were expecting out of the Marlins. So it's something great to see. It seems like he has a great future.
Yeah, hopefully. So they're trying to call their way into a playoff spot. Obviously, the Marlins are in the National League, so it's a lot tougher to make the playoffs in the NL than it is the AL. Well, they are 3-2 on the month. One of those losses, or 2 of those losses, did come to the Colorado Rockies. Zach Agnos threw in one of the wins, and also the one loss that the Rockies had during the series against the Marlins. Agnos scoreless in each of his last 2 outings. He threw 2 1/3 in some mop-up duty when they were down 10-7, or actually down 10-6. They scored a late run. That was on Monday the 29th, and then on Wednesday the 2nd, he came in and threw 2 innings against Miami in what was a 14-4 victory over the Marlins. So Agnos, hey, they're kind of using him in low leverage spots, but at least back-to-back scoreless outings, and it was in Colorado. It was not in Miami, so that's good too.
Yeah, sorry, my internet kind of crashing a little bit, so I missed a little bit of what you said, but I know you were talking about Agnos, and I'm excited to see what he has coming up here because he is playing the Dodgers this upcoming series, or at least the team is in general. We'll see if at some point maybe they'll be up a lot of runs, or there's a good chance they'll be down a lot of runs. It is the Dodgers, and last time he faced them, I think he went 2 innings, 7 earned, and that's when he got pulled or sent down. So that's not something I want to see from him after making a little bit of progress. He came back after getting sent or pulled back up. Did not look great in.
And we've lost Dom again. Dom's internet is struggling. We're going to have to force him to be back in the IBX Media studios starting next week. Then we're going home to Wilmington for Dom Kasulki. Yeah, we lost you again.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Internet is cutting out. I've done it back at home before. I've done the show back at home multiple.
Yeah, we're going to have to ask Dom to reset. I would normally say we reset the podcast, but I'm up against a clock, so I am going to text him to log off and log back on, if I can find the last time that I actually sent him a text. Dom, I'm going to have you log off and log back on. If you can. Yeah, because
right.
So anyways, as Dom was saying there, the Marlins and the Colorado Rockies the Rockies and the Dodgers will be going at it this week, so hopefully Zach can get a few more appearances in that one. Hey, even if it's mop-up duty, if he can at least prove that he can go out there and consistently throw strikes and not get knocked around, that would be big. So don't want to totally cut Dom off here if he has anything else to say. However, we do need to get moving, so I can always throw it back to him if need be. But moving on with some of the other things we're going to talk about today, we got 2 players in the minors we're going to talk about, as well as a couple of players in the majors still to come. And the first guy we're going to highlight in the minors is Dixon Williams. Dixon, as we mentioned last show, okay, we've got Dom back. He is reset. It looks like he is now in his bathroom.
Yeah, went to a different spot. I have parents downstairs right now, and can't really go down there, and I have my room or my bathroom to choose from. So, and the internet in my room is obviously not the answer today. So we're going with an unconventional spot, but it is what it is. It'll work.
I was about to move on to Dixon. Did you have anything else to say about Zach? Or
no, nothing else to say about Zach. Just hope he doesn't get shelled against the Dodgers. Basically, that's all I'm hoping, is that he can pitch a few innings in either mop up or whatever duty he's asked to do, and not get shelled.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so moving on to Dixon Williams, as we've highlighted the last couple shows, he has been hitting the ball much better of late. He went 1 for 4 on Tuesday, also drew a walk. He had a pair of hits on Wednesday, did have a hit Thursday, and he also had a hit on Sunday. One of his 2 hits on Wednesday was a home run, and his lone hit on Thursday was a home run, so a pair of homers for Dixon last week.
Yeah, he added on 3 RBIs in both of those games, had a walk, like you said, on the second. And I think the big thing with him is he's going to continue to strike out. But if he can start hitting the ball at a higher rate, he's going to be in a much better position, because he had a bad May, and it kind of leaked into June. But then he flipped a switch, in a sense, in the middle of June. That's when he went on that hit streak. And even though he is continuing to strike out, he's getting those consistent hits or walks or both every single game. And it seems like the back half of June, it's kind of led into the start of July, with that power surge. And maybe we can see a huge power surge here in July, already 2 home runs in just those 3 games played. So kind of excited to keep up with him with how much he's been improving since we've started the show, really.
And yeah, we lost Dom again. Would you say it was improving since we started the show and then you cut out?
That was it.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, that is big, and that's part of the reason we're doing this, is to kind of keep up with the journey of the guys in the minors, keep everybody informed. So continue to tune in on YouTube, the IBX Media app, and 943thegame.com. Now we're going to hit on a minor leaguer who we have not talked about all year. That is pitcher Wyatt Lunsford Shankman. He is currently 4-1, Dom, with a 3.45 ERA. He is currently in the Seattle Mariners High A Everett. So I think you have some things here on Wyatt.
Yeah, he was obviously been strictly a reliever here in Seattle's High A, and his best month was April, where he only allowed 2 runs to his name, but he had 11 walks in just 12 innings. And in general, he has been a little bit wild. 18 walks versus lefties versus only 5 walks to righties. And when you're a reliever, walks, they'll add up on you a little bit faster than even as a starter. So you can't have 1 to 2 walks every single game as a reliever. You can live with that if you're a starter and you can get out of jams. But as a reliever, it seems like every single game it's a walk or two. And he's really struggling against lefties to put them away late in counts. So it's nice that he had a good April, and then even with the walks. But then in May, he didn't walk as many batters, but allowed 3 bombs. And in June, it was kind of a mix of both, 6 walks and 4 earned runs with a home run. So it's been a good ERA, but he has been putting himself in tough situations. And I think if he can cut the walks down to lefties, then he's going to end up being a really great reliever for Seattle's minor league system, and he's going to up the ranks quick.
Yeah, the tough thing there, Dom, you mentioned the 23 walks on the year. That leads the team most walks, so he's really got to change those numbers. The reason the ERA is low, though, Dom, 31 strikeouts to those 23 walks, so he's been able to save some of those jams that he's put himself in. But to your point, if he's not putting himself in those jams, how effective can he be? So
I mean, he could be really, really good.
Yeah, and look, guys, if he does start pitching well, could he get called up? Sure. However, do want to throw this out there. He is tied for first on the team in appearances with Christian Little. However, Little, both of them have appeared in 23 contests. Little's ERA is 2.15 in 29 and a third innings of work. As we mentioned earlier, Wyatt Schenkman has thrown 31. Actually, I think I did not mention earlier. He's thrown 31 and a third innings of work, which is third on the team in most innings of work amongst relievers. The 2 guys who have pitched a few more innings than him, also ERAs in the threes. One of those guys, Casey Hentz at 3.09, and Reed Easterly at 3.68. There's a couple other guys in this bullpen with the mid-3 ERAs too, and plenty of appearances. So, Dom, clearly Seattle has drafted well as it comes to the bullpen arms. Got another guy at a 1.67, and he's appeared in 16 games. Another guy's appeared in 22. He's got a 3.33 ERA. So it's going to be tough for him to move up.
Yeah, it is going to be tough for him to move up, and I feel like the only way that it's going to happen is if he does cut those walks down to against lefties. And I think Seattle in general has just been in the past 5 years or so has been a powerhouse in pitching, because they haven't had the best hitting in the world, although they made it pretty deep last year. But it's always been a pitching staff to worry about, at least in their starters, and now they might build up some starters from ground zero in the minors. Hopefully Schenkman can transform himself in any way possible to get himself moved up. But again, all those great relievers in their system right now, it's going to make it tough.
It definitely is, but it is good to see Wyatt Schenkman once again, a 4-1 record on the season. You got anything else with this, Dom, or are you ready to move on to our guys in the majors?
I'm ready to move on to the majors.
Alrighty, we're first going to talk about Alec Burleson. Burley had a little bit of a slump, not this past week, but the week before. We came on last show, talked about how he hadn't been hitting the ball very well, and sure enough, he comes out this past weekend, has 1 hit on Thursday, has 2 hits Friday, 2 hits Saturday, 2 hits Sunday, and his 1 long Thursday hit was a home run. He had 4 RBIs on Friday, just consistent Alec Burleson. Not an all-star, unfortunately, but very consistent.
Well, actually, I'm glad you talked about that Thursday home run, because that's the one big hit I really wanted to talk about, because it kind of feels like in basketball terms, sometimes you got to see one go through the hoop. And it's a lot harder in baseball, but Burley, it was end of the game, his 9th inning, they're up 10-5, he hits a no-doubt home run. And that's what gets him back on track, because he was 0 for 4 before that home run. So if he doesn't get in the bat there, who knows if he gets himself out of that slump. But he gets himself out of the slump. Now 3 consecutive multi-hit games, back to back to back. He doesn't even have a home run in any of those games either. So it's just he's consistently hitting the ball. And I think just being able to get that at bat in a blowout, you go out, get yourself back on track. 5 are.
And we're losing Dom again. Oh, you're back.
Nope.
You said getting back on track, and then it cut. Yeah, we only lost you for a second.
Yeah, all I said was that he had 5 RBIs combined in those 3 games after the home run. So that's what's getting him back on track as well.
Yeah, one of the interesting things too about Burleson here that I think is helping him put the ball in play so much. He's not striking out a bunch. He has struck out already 4 times this month in just 5 days, so that's not great. But last month, struck out 13 times, and he played almost every day, so probably don't see the exact game tally here, but he played, probably 25, 26 games. He's only striking out about once every other game or so, and I think that's really is what's helping him here is, these MLB things sometimes are great and sometimes just stink. It's like, why at the top can I not see the strikeouts? But, in his last 30 games, it does have that. He's only struck out 17 times. So that's the big thing, man. He puts the ball in play.
And good things happen when you put the ball in play. You got to make it hard on the defense, and the defense is not always going to be perfect. And Burley, if he's not striking out, he has the power to hit the ball hard and make it hard on the defense. He's not just putting out 70-mile-per-hour line drives. If he's going to line one, it's going to be a hard hit ball.
Yeah, it is. So, and man, going deep into the chop house you mentioned there, how many times, it seems like every time he goes to Atlanta, he nukes one into the chop house.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was the last game of that series, right?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to hit Scooter a baseball. That's what it is.
Yeah, maybe he was. Scooter already caught one in softball. Now he needs one in baseball.
Oh, my goodness. I know. What a snag. For those of you who don't know, during the Women's College World Series, there was like a no-doubter hit to center field. Like all these people jump up to catch the ball. There's like all these arms jumping, and Scooter just like sticks his hands up and like no emotion, no anything.
So nonchalantly.
Yeah. Dog. You got that dog in him. All righty, now let's move on to the pitching side of things. Trey Savage pitched yesterday afternoon against the Seattle Mariners. He did get the loss in the contest. He allowed just 2 runs in 6 innings of work, so a quality start for Trey, but no run support. When they pulled him, the team was down 3-0. Again, one of those runs unearned, and Toronto just wasn't hitting the ball against, as you mentioned, a very good Seattle pitching staff.
Yeah, I was going to say Seattle's pitching staff, it's tough to hit against. They always are. They just have a great set of starters over there. But I feel like we're seeing a lot of growth from Trey Savage. We were just talking about it only 5 weeks in, but a couple weeks back, he was having trouble later in the games. He was getting deep in the games, 5th, 6th inning, the wheels would kind of fall off. Now he had a little bit of a rough patch in the 4th inning, but he was able to go back in the 5th and the 6th. And he was able to 96 pitches after, allowing a home run in the 4th, being able to shut down that Mariners team and not let the wheels fall off. I think that's huge for him in a nice stride in his first full season of starting.
It is, man. And, one of the interesting things right now, opponents' batting average against him, of course, once again, it has it broken down by month and not the entire year. Okay, so what I was about to say just... Yeah, sorry. I need to do a better job, Dom, I guess, of having 2 tabs up, one with the splits and then one with the overall without the game logs. But, I thought it would, put the total numbers down at the bottom. But clearly it doesn't. So, anyways, here we go. In 2026, opponents are hitting just 181 against Trey Savage. And, like you said, so if he can keep the walks down, which he does have 32 walks on the season, that's 73 innings of work. It's not terrible. It's not great either. And as long as he can keep the walks down, man, like I said, opponents hitting less than 200 against him. He's got a 108 whip. Like, dude is getting guys out, and he's staying efficient, and that's why he can pitch into the 6th inning a lot of times. Yeah,
and it's something that we saw. It kind of felt like every other game he'd have a game without many walks, and then he'd have a game with 5, 6, maybe 7 walks. It's like, come on, he's got to keep control of that command. So at a certain point, it'd be nice to see consistent games. And now it's a couple games in a row low on the walks. And even with him, I looked at it, he kind of struggled finding the command with the splitter, but the slider was a lot more solid for him in last night's start.
And that's one of those things. I think that's the pitch that determines how good he is in an outing. Like the splitter's great. Obviously, that's a split out pitch, but usually it's working decent. But if he's not controlling the slider, man, he kind of becomes a 2-pitch guy, which is a fastball and a true put out pitch. It's not how you're going to be a great starter here in the year 2026. Really, at any time in baseball, especially now as we've gone, later. So it's one of those things, man. As long as he's got that going. The slider, I feel like he's solid, but I would say that's kind of the key to his outings.
Yeah, it is, and it's really just in the form of being a starter. You kind of have to have that third or fourth pitch. But with him right now, it's just a third pitch. I don't know if later in his career he's going to try to add another pitch into his repertoire, but right now he's looking pretty darn good and consistently landing the slider if the splitter's not hitting. And once he kind of puts all of it together, and that's when we see those super long outings from him, and we know that he has it in store for us. And I think we're going to continue to see that later down the stretch.
Yeah, his next outing will be Saturday, July 11th in San Diego, where he will face off against Walker Buehler. So that is what we've got for Trey. All righty, Dom. Anything else from you?
No, sorry about the internet. I hope it wasn't absolutely unlistenable, if that's even a word.
It is now.
Yeah, it is for me. But I hope it was listenable for me. I'm not sure. I can't tell from here, but I know I've been cutting out a little bit. Hopefully you could hear what I was saying.
Yeah, no, it was all good. And then luckily I picked up on it enough to kind of bridge. And usually it was at the end of what you were saying. So there's that. Yeah. Hey, no fire alarms. Went through the whole show and no dang fire alarms. That's what I'm happy about. Yeah. I know Mary's really happy about. She's in a small room in there. And that crap hurts your ears. So that's the big thing. So we're at about 20 minutes now. So thanks, Dom. It was fun. Yeah. And will you be back in studio next week?
Yeah, I'll be back in studio next week.
All right. Next Tuesday. Dom Casol will be back in studio.
No internet issues. Let's go.
There we go. All righty. Thank you, Dom.
Thank you.
Thanks to intern Mary. Have a good week, Pirate Nation. We will talk to you next week on Pirates in the Pros.